this saga has officially reached a different level. Listen, I'm laughing, but I'm serious. This story is crazy, people. Everyone is crashing out in order to get their move, and players are willing to do whatever it takes to get their way. And in this case, Alexander Isak is publicly going against Newcastle United to get his move to Liverpool. Now listen, you know what to do to support this channel. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. But listen, let's get down to business. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know that Alexander Isak is trying to force a move from Newcastle to Liverpool. Liverpool already came out, made a bid, I think of 110, 115 or 20. I can't remember how much it was exactly. Made a bid, got rejected. Newcastle are trying to hold out for that £150 million to make it a British record transfer fee. Whether we're going to see that, we don't know. But anyway, as the PFA awards were going on, people were getting their rewards. People were getting their awards, rather. And then the PFA Premier League team of the season 2024-25 got announced. And Alexander Isak was in that team alongside Chris Wood to be one of two strikers in that 4-4-2 formation to be in that team of the season. And congrats to Isak because he deserves it. Last season was crazy. Numbers were crazy. Performances were crazy. Won a trophy with Newcastle, beating Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final. So he deserves it. But boy, oh boy, did we get a reaction from Isak, which I didn't expect. I mean, I did expect some sort of thank you to the fans, thank you to Newcastle, thank you to my teammates for making this possible, you know, all of that generic stuff. But we heard more. Isak took it to Instagram stories and he says, "I'm proud to be recognised by my fellow professionals with a place in the PFA Premier League team of the season for 2024-2025. First and foremost, I want to thank my teammates and everyone at Newcastle who has supported me along the way. I'm not at the ceremony tonight. With everything going on, it didn't feel right to be there. I've kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken. That silence has allowed people to push their own version of events, even though they know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made, and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are at for me right now, and why change is in the best of interest of everyone, not just myself." And guess what? The club have since responded with their own statement. Let's get into it. "We are disappointed to have been alerted to a social media post by Alexander Isak this evening. We are clear in response that Alex remains under contract and that no commitment has ever been made by a club official that Alex can leave Newcastle United this summer. We want to keep our best players, but we also understand players have their own wishes and we listen to their views. As explained to Alex and his representatives, we must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle United, the team and our supporters in all decisions, and we have been clear that the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired." This is crazy. Wow, I can't believe what I'm reading, you know. "We do not foresee those conditions being met." Basically, they bid the money, they offered the money, but it's not enough. "This is a proud football club with proud traditions, and we strive to retain our family feel. Alex remains part of our family and will be welcomed back when he is ready to rejoin his teammates." Wow, talk about a statement. Now listen, we've seen these kinds of things before. You know, it's not the first time that we've seen players push for moves, and it's definitely not the first time that we see players throwing their toys out their pram to try and get the move. You know, I'm thinking of Carlos Tevez when he was at Man City in 2011, where Man City was just like, well, you can stay wherever you like. It's got nothing to do with us. I'm thinking of Alexis Sanchez, who refused to play and train in order to get his move to Man United. I'm thinking of, who else am I thinking of? Riyad Mahrez, when he tried to force his move from Leicester to Manchester City. Now, in recent times, I swear it was just yesterday that Yohan Wissa Shout out to my Congolese brother, but you know, you're doing a bit too much. Yohan Wissa has deleted all of his Brentford pictures on his Instagram and has deleted Brentford FC from his bio, and his profile picture on Instagram is all black just to try and force a move to Newcastle. So what that tells me is, at the end of the day, yeah, it will happen to you just like it can happen to someone else. It's happening to Newcastle right now with Isak, but at the same time, it could be working in their favour because it's happening to Brentford with Wissa. So it's happening to everyone, you know, it's happened to us, Man United. Anthony, well, in our favour, Anthony went on strike with Ajax in order to try and force a move to Man United. You know, I can't remember of someone doing that to us to try and force a move elsewhere off the top of my head. But maybe if you guys know some examples with Man United, you can put it in the comments. We've seen it with Odion Ighalo. Not that he tried to force a move, but he told his Chinese club very clearly, make it happen. I do not care how much I'm going to earn at Man United. I want to go. Make it happen. So players have their techniques, especially now with social media. Player power is a real thing, and they are able to use it in their favour. With this statement, Isak is coming out and trying to use this in his favour. He knows he's got the following. He knows whatever he puts out, boom, immediately it's going to go out to the world, which it has, because I'm here talking about it. So players nowadays, when they want to force moves, it's not like before where you couldn't really use the media like that. Nowadays with social media, players have the opportunity to control the narrative. Players have the opportunity to control the narrative, and players have the opportunity to make fans or people believe that they are in the right, which is what Isak is trying to do here when he said that promises were made, but they were broken. You know, when trust is gone, the relationship can't continue. That's what he's trying to do here, you know. So it is absolutely crazy. We have seen I've seen sagas in my life when it comes to transfers, but this one here, yeah, this has to be up there with the craziest ones I've ever seen. Now, listen, let's get into my opinion on what I think this Isak and Newcastle thing is about. Personally, I think Isak is going about it the complete wrong way. He's going about it completely wrong. And listen, I don't know who's around him. I don't know his agents. I don't know his people. But if I'm really honest, whoever's advising him, this ain't it. This ain't it. Now listen, if Isak had 1 year left on his contract, even 2, with 2, I would have been like, I don't know. But let's just say, for the sake of this video, if he had 1 or 2 years left on his deal, forget 2. If he had 1 year left on his deal, cool, I understand. He's trying to force a move. It's Liverpool at the end of the day. And people seem to forget as well, even though I'm about to say what I'm about to say, there's a pecking order in the world of football, but sticking with the Premier League. When you're playing for Brentford, Newcastle come calling, you try and force a move to go because they're a bigger club than Brentford. And unfortunately, in this case, you play for Newcastle, the big boys come calling because you're good, you try and force a move to Liverpool. There's a pecking order. Like I said, it can happen to you in a negative way, just like it can happen to you in a positive way, in your favour. So, back to my point. If he had a year left on his deal, I would have said, you know what? I hear it. I hear it. You want to go to one of the biggest clubs in the country right now, the current champions, they've got Champions League football, they've got a stacked squad, and you can be part of a potential next dynasty in Liverpool FC. I understand. But the only problem is, in this case, he doesn't have a year left on his contract. He doesn't have 2 years left on his contract. He's got a whole 3 years left on his deal. And again, this is just my opinion. Isak, you're going about it the wrong way, my guy. Because I know that every fan base is passionate, yeah, but we're talking about Newcastle fans here. This is one of the most passionate fan bases in the country, you know? And at the end of the day, you signed that 6 year deal. when you join the club. Now, if you were to go about it differently, say, listen, I want to have that move to Liverpool, but you still train and you still play, fair play. Because then the fans are like, you know what? At least he's still putting in performances and he's still playing well, which warrants why he wants to leave, or which warrants why a Liverpool can come call in and say, we want your player. But to refuse to train and play is one thing. But to do these two things and then publicly drag your club through the mud, yeah, that's mad. I can't even lie. That is crazy. With 3 years left on your deal, that's crazy to me. That's crazy. And honestly, I can see Newcastle do two things. I can see them get to the table, sit down at the table with Liverpool and try and get it sorted now. And, you know, they get the 150 that they want to have. And then, boom, Liverpool break the British transfer record. Liverpool break the British transfer record. Oh, I can't even speak properly. Anyway, you get my point. They do it again. And then, you know, Liverpool are happy, but then Newcastle have the money, but, you know, you're leaving a very angry fan base behind. Or Liverpool can try and make another bid and Newcastle go, you know what? Nah, we're not selling. We're not selling. Isak, you're going to play in the reserves until the season starts. And then when the season starts, we're going to reintegrate you into the squad. But now it's up to him to have to face his teammates first and foremost, and then the fans. Because I imagine the fans, if, and that's a big if, Isak was to ever play for Newcastle again. Listen, I'm not advocating for certain things going on in the stadium, but the boos will probably be some of the loudest in the country that we've ever heard. If he was ever to play for Newcastle again, we don't know. But it is crazy, people. It is crazy. And you've got to, you know, look at some of the stuff that he's saying here. He said that the silence has allowed people to push their own version of events. Now, who's he talking about here? Pundits? Us, content creators? Journalists? Who's he talking about? Because this is the first time he's coming out and speaking. We've never heard his version of things. Because there's always two sides to every story, like people like to say. This is the first time we're hearing his side. We've heard the side of the club, but we haven't heard his. This is the first time. The reality is that promises were made and the club has known my position for a long time. So was he planning on leaving for a long time? If he has, and again, I'm trying to see both sides here. If he has told the club that he wanted to leave and the club had accepted, or there was a gentleman's agreement, like with Harry Kane and Tottenham back in 2021, then the club have to, you know, take the L and say, you know what, we're in the wrong here. We can let you go. Because remember, that's what happened with Harry Kane in 2021. There was that gentleman's agreement between Daniel Levy and Harry Kane that he could leave if a club was to bid 100 million. City were that team. They bid 100 million. But then Tottenham and Daniel Levy rejected the bid. And that's when Harry Kane went on strike, refused to train, refused to play. Wow, it is crazy, people. It really is crazy. Personally, I could not tell you the outcome of this, but I have to be honest and say that Isak is going about this the wrong way. Going about this the wrong way, especially because it's Newcastle. If this was another club, I'm not saying you could have accepted it, but you would have been more prone to say, you know what, yeah, these things happen, but this is Newcastle we're talking about, you know. But at the same time, like I said, I'm taking both sides here. I'm trying to be on both sides. You have to understand that in the world of football, there's a pecking order. And when you play well for a certain club, unless you're playing for one of the big boys already, one of the big boys will come calling. And when the call is there, when that knock comes, it's very difficult to say no. Very, very difficult. However, it can be done in the right way. That's my opinion on it. So let me know what you think in the comment section, people. This is absolutely crazy. I've never seen anything like it, I'll be honest. So yeah, man, like, share, comment, subscribe. Did I say that correctly? Yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe all of that good stuff. And yeah, people, I will see you very soon, unless we have some breaking news again and I have to come and sit here again and talk to you guys. But anyway, it's road to 20K, closing in on 18. Are we actually there? Let me check. Are we on 18? Bro, we're 4 subs away from 18K. And I think by the time this comes out, we'll get to 18K. So big up. We've got to 18K. Let's celebrate in advance. Anyway, people, I'll see you soon. Peace.